to yet another class of English. Today we are going to start with the writing skill topic, and the topic is notice writing. Now before starting notice writing, let's see what actually a notice is. I hope you must have done few notices in your previous class as well, but this is just another recap for you. A notice is a short written announcement to circulate important information either within an organization or for the general public. So basically it's an information which needs to be given to many people. It can be within an institute or an organization, or it can be for general public as well. For example, if you want to tell your society about something, so you put up a notice on the society notice board. Now this notice can be put up by any individual authority, or it can be done by an organization as well. Okay, points to remember before we start writing the notices. First thing, it's always written within our box. So there is a compulsion to draw a box whenever you are writing down a notice. It must be short, precise, and relevant. In notice, like letters and other long compositions, you do not need to give unnecessary details. It should be very short. It should be only concentrating on the information which you want to give. No other quotations or no other extra information is required in this notice writing process. The word limit of the notice should not exceed 50 words. That's it. 50 words are the maximum words for your notice. Do not write it more than this because it does not look appealing to the person who's reading it. If it's a long message, you also tend to ignore it, or you also do not like that really that much. And if it's a short composition, only few lines are written, so the public would like to read it very quickly. Next thing, it must include the name and address of the institution or organization, date, and the name and designation of the signatory authority. So all these things are discussed in the format of the notice writing, which we'll be doing later on as well. It must indicate the issuing authority as well as the addressee. So who is issuing this notice, who has given this notice, and who is the addressee. Addressee means for whom this notice is being put. So who is issuing it and who is receiving the information from that notice. It should provide the contact details if any. Contact details means if there is an information or there is any further information which might be required by people. For example, they read your notice, they have certain doubts, and then they want to contact you. So your contact details, or the person who is concerned with this issue, his or her contact details must be mentioned. Now the content, as we have already discussed, it should include the following points: date, time, venue, purpose, specific instructions if any, and contact person. So date, time should be there. Date means if you are writing about any event, then this event is happening on which date, what's the time of that event, where will this event be held, what will be the venue. Purpose means why is this event going to happen. For example, you are writing about a meeting which is there in your school. So on what date is that meeting, what's the time of that meeting, what will be the venue, which classroom, maybe auditorium, maybe library, any place. Purpose, what do you want to discuss in that meeting, and specific instructions if any. For example, you want to tell that only 6 to 8 students should be there, or 6 to 12 students should be there, or only the student council members should be there, anything like that. If there are some specific instructions, you will mention those. And the contact person, again, if a person who is reading notice and he or she has certain doubts, so who will she or he contact? So this contact person should also be mentioned. The tone of notice should be objective, impartial, and formal. So you do not know the people you are addressing the notice to. Therefore, your notice should always be in a formal tone, and it should be very brief, objective. Now here comes the format of the notice, and please make sure whenever we write a notice, the format contain marks. So it's very important to go through this format. As I've already told you, box is the most important part of the format of notice. So notice always will be in the box. Now, first thing will be name of the organization, where this notice is supposed to be put up or who has issued this notice. For example, if a school has issued it and it is going to be used by the students or teachers of that school, so we'll use the name of that organization. Or if it's in an office or in some other place, maybe a society office, so anything, wherever this organization is there, you will write the name of that organization. Then we come to the word notice. So everyone will get to know that it's a notice by the use of this word notice. This is the part of a format. Date. Date means on which date are you putting this notice up. For example, today is 13th of April. So we'll be writing that we are issuing this notice on 13th of April 2020. Then we have heading of the notice. Means what is this notice about? What topic is there in your notice? So you will write heading or the topic of the notice. Then comes your content of the notice. Content generally includes what is happening, where it is happening, when it is happening, and some other details if there are. For example, if you're telling about a picnic trip, so on which date is that picnic trip, for which all classes is that trip, and then what will be the timings of the trip, what will be the fees of that. So anything which will be the details, you will mention those details in the content of the notice. And then at the end we have name, designation or post. Name of the person who is writing the notice, designation of that same person. For example, you are a house captain, so your name will come in designation. Your designation will be house captain, and class if mentioned. If it's not mentioned, then we can skip this class. It's optional. If it is mentioned, just write only then. Moving further, we have sample question. Let's see how a notice writing question has to be attempted. The question says, you are Jyotika Bansal, President of Cultural Club of St. Thomas School. The cultural club of your school is hosting second annual inter-school creative writing contest. Write a notice inviting students to participate. So here the question mentions the name which has to be written and the name of the school which has to be written. The purpose is you are inviting the students to participate in the creative writing contest. Now all these details are given to you. You just have to process the information and you have to use it in the proper format. Now see, the name of the school was already given to you. So if the name of the school is given, you will not replace it with your own school's name. You will just write the name of the school given in the question. So it says St. Thomas School. This name will be in capital letters. The things which I have written in capital letters means that you also have to write these things in the capital letters, as it is the part of the format. After this, in the next line, immediately next line, without leaving any line, you will write the word notice again in the capital letters. In the next line, towards the left hand side margin, without leaving a line again, you will write down the date on which the notice is being put up. So today's date is 13th April, that's why I've written this date. Next one, the heading of the notice. Why are you writing this notice? What's the purpose of this notice and what it talks about? In a nutshell, it talks about inter-school creative writing contest. Now the content will start. The Cultural Club of St. Thomas is hosting its second annual inter-school creative writing contest. So what is happening? This we get to know that it's hosting its annual day event. Next, all those who consider themselves writers and poets are welcome. So anyone is welcomed and anyone can participate. A maximum of 200 participants will be allowed and registration will be on first come first serve basis. So you have only 200, you have the capacity of only 200 participants and registration will be done on the first come first serve basis. Means whosoever will come will get the registration done first. Next is the event will be held in main auditorium on 5th May 2020. So you are telling them about the event date, that this day the event will be conducted. Now some specific details are given to you. For example, you must be between the age of 12 and 15 years. So age limit is there. Therefore, these kinds of information are important, which are the extra information apart from what happened or what is going to happen and when it is going to happen, where it is going to happen. Apart from this, what, when, and where, you will also mention some other details which will be necessary. The topics will be given on the spot and you will get 2 hours to complete the task. So it's not that topics will not be told beforehand. It will be given on the spot and 2 hour time limit will be given. You may contact the cultural club for any queries. Now, after this also, although everything is mentioned over here, after this also, if someone has any doubt, they can contact the cultural club for any query and assistance. Now, who is writing this particular notice? Jyotika Bansal. And what's the designation? What's the post of this person? President of cultural club of the school. So therefore, we'll just write President Cultural Club. Now, I hope you must have understood what a notice is and how it is to be written. I have mentioned the details of the assignment in the PDF shared on the group. Thank you, students, and we'll be meeting after a short while.